You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere. This is your WLCX Daily News Roundup for the Eagle 1490 AM in La Crosse.
For 1490 WLCX, I'm Jimmy Kuska. The School District of La Crosse is holding several public informational sessions, which they are calling visioning sessions, to get feedback on the future of the district. In the past 2 weeks, district officials have presented materials to the La Crosse Common Council and La Crosse County Board, including a session Wednesday with the county. So far, the district has held over a dozen of the sessions with different groups in La Crosse. The sessions are intended to help guide future decisions and priorities for the school district. Wisconsin Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez was in La Crosse on Thursday to visit the Pump House Regional Arts Center, the La Crosse County Historical Society, and other stops. Rodriguez used the trip to offer feedback on budget proposals funding arts and museums in Wisconsin. Rodriguez said that right now the governor's office is focused on getting the state's biennial budget done, and that Governor Tony Evers will make a decision on running for re-election after the budget is signed. One of the Democratic candidates for Congress in western Wisconsin began campaigning in the Cooley region on Thursday. Emily Berge, who is on the Eau Claire City Council, was in La Crosse to launch her campaign. Berge, who also held an event in Viroqua, is challenging former Eau Claire City Council member Laura Benjamin and Rebecca Cook, who won last year's primary but lost in the election to Republican Derek Van Orden. The three candidates will face each other in a Democratic primary next fall. One person is hurt after being shot yesterday morning in La Crosse. According to the La Crosse Police Department, the shooting happened on the 900 block of 5th Avenue South at 11:28 a.m. Police said the shooting was, quote, targeted and isolated and that the public is not in danger. Police are searching for one person of interest, 28-year-old Deontay Booth. The person who was shot was taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Anyone with tips can contact La Crosse Area Crime Stoppers at 608-784-TIPS or online. If you're renting out your home or property for short-term rentals in Monroe County, you'll now need a license to do so. County officials announced that any so-called tourist rooming houses, including bed and breakfast, short-term rentals, or other lodging facilities, even if they're only being used during the summer, need a license to operate. Property owners have until June 30th to apply for a license. Any place that operates without the license can be fined $750. You can find out more information on the Monroe County Health Department website. Unemployment rates remain low in Wisconsin. With more, here's Civic Media's Lisa Hale.
The number of unemployed people in Wisconsin increased slightly in April, according to preliminary estimates from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. The Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development announced Wisconsin's seasonally adjusted unemployment rate increased slightly to 3.3% over the last month. That's still 0.9 percentage points below the national unemployment rate of 4.2%.
La Crosse, like many cities of its size in the state, has lower unemployment than the statewide average. A Wisconsin Circuit Court judge appeared in federal court yesterday on charges of obstructing federal agents in an immigration case. With more, here's Civic Media's Stuart J. Waddles.
Judge Hannah Dugan wants her federal case dismissed. In a filing yesterday, her attorneys claimed she's immune from prosecution for actions taken as part of her official duties. Dugan is accused of helping an undocumented immigrant evade arrest at the courthouse, but her lawyers say the prosecution is unconstitutional and violates the 10th Amendment. Dugan remains suspended from the bench.
Dugan pleaded not guilty to the charges in court on Thursday. Highway 25 was closed for several hours Wednesday after a train hit a semi in the morning in the village of Nelson. According to the Buffalo County Sheriff's Office, a semi hauling 12 tons of fertilizer crossed the railroad tracks while the arms were down. The truck was struck by the train in the middle of the trailer, spilling the entire load. The driver of the truck was not hurt. The train's conductor was checked out by first responders. Cleanup crews and DOT officials from Wisconsin and Minnesota cleared the scene after nearly 6 hours. May is Lyme Disease Awareness Month, and in Wisconsin, the latest data shows that last year had the highest number of cases in state history. Experts are urging preventative measures like insect repellent and protective clothing. Wisconsin DHS entomologist Zia Lee said the deer tick is the most concerning of the 16 tick species in Wisconsin.
Those are usually the ones that we associate with a lot of the cases of Lyme disease or tick-borne diseases. They're most active in June and July, and this is also reflected in the number of people who go into the emergency department or go into the physician for tick bite-related illness.
If you're bitten by a deer tick, there's a 50-50 chance it is carrying Lyme disease. UW-Madison entomologist PJ TJ Leach said finding a tick early can reduce your chances of infection.
That's a pretty high rate of infectivity, kind of a scary number. But even if you have a deer tick that is Lyme positive, if you are checking yourself and making sure they are not attached to you for very long, that's going to greatly reduce the chances of transmission.
Early symptoms of Lyme disease include fever, headache, fatigue, swollen lymph nodes, joint and muscle pain, and rashes. Untreated conditions are more severe. You can learn more about Lyme disease on the Wisconsin DHS website. It'll be another windy day here in the Coulee region, and we'll have a decent shot at rain as well. Temperatures today will climb well into the 70s and even 80 in some places before coming back down to the 40s overnight. Light rain showers are expected to move in this afternoon with a slight chance of thunderstorms. The weekend will feature highs in the 60s with mostly sunny skies. Our next best chance of beneficial rain will be Monday into Tuesday. We'll have more details in our Civic Media forecast. Download the free Civic Media app now at civicmedia.us/app. For $14.90 WLCX, I'm Jimmy Kuska.
The Brewers are back home. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with Sports Baseball. The Brewers back from their road trip host the Minnesota Twins tonight in Milwaukee. Chad Patrick on the mound for the Crew against the Twins' Joe Ryan. The Brewers coming off that much-needed 9-5 win Wednesday in Cleveland. Better defense, better pitching, and driving in runners in scoring position. Christian Yelich.
That's what we got to do if we want to be a good team. I think it's shown up at times this year. It just hasn't shown up consistently or as consistently as we would like. But, you just got to keep striving to get there and have it all click.
NFL Packers off-season practices continue in Green Bay without defensive back Jair Alexander. His position coach, Derek Ansley, asked, does he still keep in contact with Jair?
Every day. Every day we have contact every morning. I send him a positive quote. Sometimes it's a scripture. Sometimes it's just something that somebody sends me and I forward it to him. But yeah, we have contact every morning.
That's Packers secondary coach Derek Ansley. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. First it was HBO, then it was HBO Max. Then it was just Max, and now it's going back to HBO Max. Parent company Warner Brothers Discovery has decided that HBO is a respected brand that they should put back to help drive subscribers. Yes, by all means, lose the most respected part of the streaming title, the part that brought you Game of Thrones, True Detective, and White Lotus, and Last Week Tonight. Not sure they really lose anything if they drop Max. Snoop Dogg, or Snoop-a-Loop to Will Ferrell, is putting out new material inspired by the backlash of his performance at the inauguration of the president. The rapper said he lost 500,000 Instagram followers and took a lot of heat for his decision, but said he appeared not to endorse the president, but from a deal he made with a business partner in order to bring resources to the hood. The music mogul said he does not represent the Republican Party. He does not represent the Democratic Party. He represents the Gangster Party. I guess it was a perfect fit then. Sorry, couldn't resist. The new season of Emily in Paris is getting a star power injection. Minnie Driver has agreed to join the show for the upcoming season, its fifth. Driver's credits include Grosse Pointe Blank and Good Will Hunting, for which she was Oscar nominated. Driver joins Lily Collins, who plays the title character. Production is currently underway in Rome for the popular Netflix show. There is no release info yet on the dropping of season 5. Actress Scarlett Johansson is planning retaliation, and it has nothing to do with her Marvel character. Johansson was the victim of a joke on Saturday Night Live Weekend Update last year, thanks to her husband Colin Jost's co-anchor Michael Chi. Chi made a joke about Johansson's private parts, which shocked her as cameras caught her reaction backstage. Johansson told Vanity Fair that she was expecting a joke involving that region of the body, but was still blown away and said the joke was old school gross. Sleep with one eye open, Michael Chi. There is nothing like some good movie buzz. Even though Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning won't be released here in the States until May 23rd, it's created quite a buzz after premiering at the Cannes Film Festival. The premiere was accompanied by a 40-piece orchestra that welcomed the audience and sounds like it was an amazing evening. Variety reports Tom Cruise received a 5-minute standing ovation from the crowd after once again pulling off his own death-defying stunts in the film, despite being the tender age of 62. He addressed the crowd, thanked the crew, and said goodbye to the franchise in front of the enthusiastic crowd. Tom Cruise, ladies and gentlemen, from teen heartthrob to a bit of an outcast to now quite possibly the greatest movie star ever, and a pretty darn good actor as well. Can't wait to see this film. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Partly cloudy, becoming mostly cloudy today with a slight chance of showers, especially in the afternoon. It's also going to be very windy. Our high in the upper 60s, the wind southwest gusting to 35. Tonight, showers in the mid to upper 40s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, breezy with a high near 60. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Currently, it is 66.
That's your WLCX Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at lacrosseeagle.com. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.